Ooblets. It's kind of like a cross between Animal Crossing and Pokemon, from what I've heard. I don't know much about it, but they're facing major backlash based off their announcement of going as an Epic exclusive. Uh, Now, a lot of it is interesting because most of the hate that they're getting isn't from like their core community and stuff that they've been building up over the years as they've been developing the game. It's actually coming from outside their community because of the way that they announced their exclusivity was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek post or whatever on the and a lot of people thought it was condescending or whatever, but it really shocked them about how people reacted to it because apparently they've always been a bit tongue-in-cheek and they've always been very open and transparent with their community, and a lot of their community was fine with it. And like they got that they were trying to be a little funny and stuff about it, and but it didn't really pass for a lot of people, and a lot of people got really mad, and as a result they've been receiving threats of violence and racist abuse as a result of this. And I gotta say, that's fucked up, man. Like, why do we have to? Why do people have to resort to this stuff just because they don't agree with a developer's decision for their own game? Like, it is their decision. Yes, it has been a point of contention in the industry among gamers about the whole Epic exclusivity thing. We've even talked about it here a few times, but why the threats? Why the abuse? Why all these things? Why did we have to resort to this?
Yeah.
It is not cool.
You know,
It is unacceptable.
I've seen more hate for the Epic Game Store than Origin and Uplay combined, essentially. Like, I don't know, it's like people resent Fortnite, or maybe
That was my
maybe
initial thinking.
They don't like the fact that Epic is forcing them to use their platform. I've heard this response from multiple people now. Is that they're resenting Epic because they're by buying these exclusives, and even when they first started pulling games off Steam.
Oh, right.
Right. Yeah, because I think it
Yeah.
was like a succession of things where like this came about when like
And-
Epic's big thing was Fortnite, and then when they released it, everyone was like, "Oh, I don't want to use it." But then they're like, "Oh, guess what? You're going to because this game is only on here." No one
Oh, so
wants to be
now that I
told
think
what to
about
do.
it, okay. Now that I think about it, okay, Uplay and Origin primarily they're selling their own games.
Yes.
Uplay,
That's why
Uplay-
a lot of people don't really have a problem with EA
So-
and Ubisoft like kind
so
of splitting off,
as
or
as
in
potentially
Ubisoft's case, semi-splitting off.
so as potentially incompetent as those platforms can be, well, it's a company selling their own games, so
Yes.
you know they can do them, okay. And but yeah, okay, so directly Epic, they've been snatching up stuff. They've been snatching up stuff that would normally be going to Steam, and we were talking about this. The whole there was like this phase of where Epic was snatching up these exclusives that were previously they were supposed to be like on Steam, and then they were snatching exclusivity. And there were people that like bought the game intending that they were going to be getting it on Steam, and those are going to be a lot of those. That sale went through, like they were able to get their game on Steam, but if there was like any like DLC for that game, they're not going to be able to get it through Steam.
I believe so, anyway.
Yeah,
But
and unless it's a temporary exclusivity deal, like Borderlands 3 is, because that is going to come to Steam eventually. But
yeah, definitely. It'd be stupid of them not for it to come to Steam eventually. But despite all of this stuff that's going on, the Ooblets developers have said that going with Epic is the right decision for them as a indie developer. because at the end it's going to provide them with more money, which will in turn allow them to continue working on Ooblets and potentially work on a new game too as a result.
Mm-hmm.
So they do say, despite everything, they don't regret their decision. Which, I mean, bravo for them. Stick to your guns. But this abuse and stuff like that is bullshit and needs to stop, and it's completely and utterly unacceptable. Okay. Moving away from this, we have loot boxes. And the big three are taking a stance on them. We're talking Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are all three taking a stance on loot boxes, in which going forward, all loot boxes must have their potential odds disclosed. So you will know what the odds are of you getting like a super rare, epic, etc. level rank item. And in an effort to kind of curb loot box gambling, I guess you could say. But also, since the story broke, I actually heard something interesting that apparently happened at the beginning of this year, but it completely went over our heads, in that Epic Games has actually come up with a rather novel solution to the whole loot box thing, in where this is for Fortnite Save the World, the single-player version of Fortnite, which I'll admit isn't as popular as Battle Royale. But so there's loot boxes in that, or there were. There still kind of are, but they're different now because Epic has instigated no more gambling loot boxes in their games and in the games of other companies owned by them. Psyonix, which they bought earlier this year as well. So these loot boxes now tell you exactly what you're going to get if you buy it. Like, there's no gambling, no nothing. You know what you are going to get if you buy that loot box. Now, if you go to the loot box page and you see something you like, you can buy it. It'll generate another loot box. You'll see what's in the next loot box. If you like it, and if you don't like it, you can buy it or not buy it. If you don't buy it, the loot boxes refresh every day. So if you didn't buy it one day because you didn't like what was in it, you can go back the next day, see what's in that loot box, and if you like that, you can buy that, or if you don't like it, you cannot buy that, and it'll refresh the next day, and so on and so forth, which I think is actually the best way to do this, honestly.
I totally agree, because literally they're just taking people, or taking advantage of people, and you get that gambling effect, and people just load all kinds of money into it. But this is more like legit. Like, you're still making money, people want to buy stuff, but it's upfront and an honest way to do it.
There's no there is a randomness to it, obviously, but at the same time, it's not random what you're going to get when you buy it, because you'll know what you're buying. Which is, in my opinion, really cool, and I like this. And apparently, this was instituted in Fortnite Save the World back in January. Like I said, we really missed the boat on this one. But however, it was recently said that this same type of loot box would be coming to Rocket League later this year.
Oh, okay.
Because I guess Rocket League has loot boxes now. I haven't played it in a very long time. I didn't know they've had loot boxes, but they're bringing this same level of disclosure to Rocket League loot boxes, and I think that's pretty cool. Like, I would like to see this model of loot box brought to other games that have them. That way, you're still like. People are coming to check out what they could possibly get for that day, even if they're not buying it. It's still promoting them to come and check it out at least once a day, see if it's something that they want or need in game, and I think it's a good system.
Yeah, I like it. Sounds good.
Now, if only Activision would do this, because let's all admit it. We've talked about Activision and Call of Duty loot boxes in past episodes of the podcast, and it's really bad. Remember, like a few weeks ago, we said it would the total cost of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is up to over almost $4,000 now. If you were to buy everything through buy enough loot boxes to get everything that's currently in the game.
Yeah.
And that's more now since they just started a new season, which means there's now more stuff in the loot boxes. So we're probably talking about
it's so hard to even navigate their menus because there's so much fucking garbage on there. I'm like, where do I just find things to play the game?
And they also just introduced anti-dupe loot boxes, which are twice as expensive as regular loot boxes.
So stupid.
So, yeah.
I know. I remember in Overwatch when they implemented an update that got rid of like super common dupes. Like if there was stuff available for you to get, you just wouldn't get dupes. You know what I mean?
You'd get more coins instead.
You would get.
You had more potential to get coins instead of a dupe. A dupe would just you would just show up as coins in the loot box that you get for Overwatch, and which I like Overwatch's system too, because you can then use the coins you get from loot boxes to just buy the skins that you want. So I like that system too. I'd also like. Oh, another thing that Fortnite did with their loot boxes is you can't bulk buy loot boxes anymore because of how their new system works. That you're only allowed to buy one at a time. Okay. Yeah. So Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo taking a stance on loot boxes, sort of. Disclosure is a good thing. I will say this. I'd like to see a bit of a harsher stance on some of these, but it's progress, you know. Let's see. And lastly, Take-Two has sent investigators to the house of YouTuber SupMatto over his months-long coverage of Borderlands 3 leaks on his channel. Which, unpopular opinion, I think it's kind of a bit deserved. Like, I don't get me wrong, I watched his videos. I followed along with the leaks that he was producing. And I kind of, like, apparently and this was the result, the action that they, okay, I'm just going to read the statement released. Take-Two subsidiary 2K Games said YouTubers' actions were sometimes illegal and harmful to the Borderlands community. And the statement says the actions we've taken is the result of a 10-month investigation and a history of his creator profiting from breaking our policies, leaking confidential information about our product, and infringing our copyrights. The rep said in the statement, along with, not only were many of his actions illegal, but they were negatively impacting the experience of other content creators and our fans in anticipation for the game. I will admit there were they definitely infringement going on there. Leaking of confidential information is definitely true. Like, there are leaks in the industry. Don't get me wrong, but they're usually small things.
And sometimes they might seem a little planted too.
Like most leaks in this industry are very small, insignificant things like a release date, a title name, maybe a little bit, maybe like some box art. Tech industry too has leaks of like phone specs and other such things as well. Like benchmarking specs sometimes leak, but this guy essentially, like, I like SupMatto. I like him as a creator. I've watched plenty of his stuff, and even he said, since he's had time to reflect on the situation, he says that excitement got the better of his judgment, and it was a bit of a shitty thing for him to do. So even he's kind of agreeing that, like, yeah, I kind of jumped the gun. I really wanted to get this information out there because it's, like, really cool. It's like he was, like, really excited. He's like he really loves the franchise Borderlands. This whole channel's based on the Borderlands franchise, and is he like really got too deep. He dug too deep. Let's just say that.
And the goblins came out.
Yeah, because I mean, he was showing leaked images of the game, of the characters. He was talking about he knew the names and specializations and abilities of all the characters.
So where did he get this info from?
From people working at 2K, most likely assuming. Like, he never gave his sources, obviously, but now obviously that also came to bite him in the ass because 2K came a calling at his door, like and
I don't know what he was thinking. Well, especially if you know people in the industry who are leaking this to you, like, those people should be hella afraid, because when you sign those NDAs, like, they will take you for everything you have if you speak of things that you shouldn't be speaking of. So I mean,
but yeah, so he's been doing these Borderlands 3 leaks for like the last year or so.
I'm surprised it went that long.
Well, like they said, they've been investigating it over the course of the last 10 months, trying to figure out where the leak's coming from and all this other type of stuff.
Got it.
And so, like, they finally, I guess, closed in on it, found him. Like, they went to, like, they sent investigators to her house, to his house, not her house, and yeah, because this is a pretty big deal. Like, he was leaking, like, a lot of information. He basically spoiled, like, he even said, he even revealed who the main villains of the game were and all this other type of stuff, the Calypso twins and stuff. Like, yeah.
Way too early.
He revealed, like, a lot of information about the game.
Yeah, I just don't know how. I don't know. Yeah, like, I've been excited to play some things, but I'm just like, I would never dare tell a soul what I just saw, because I'm not trying to, like, go to jail or get my assets or anything taken away.
So Take-Two and 2K ended up striking his channel. So he was unable to put videos up for a while as a result. And so it's been, let's see, hit his channel with several copyright strikes and sent investigators to his home in response to months of Borderlands coverage on his channel. I guess he was offline basically for a couple of weeks as a result. But yeah, he leaked details about all 4 new playable characters, the presence of the new element in the game, which is radiation, that replaced slag from Borderlands 2, the development of the Borderlands 2 add-on that would be bridging the gap between 2 and 3, and a whole bunch of other stuff that basically he shouldn't have known.
Right. I'm so curious to see how far the investigation will go and if they're gonna get the people to actually work for 2K.
Do you think the people leaking this, are they just you think they're being are they
I can
what's
imagine
their
the
motive? What's their motive? What is their motive? Do they just want attention?
Well, it could be money, because if they know he's making money off of his videos, they'd be like, well, give me a cut. But if that's the case,
yeah, but they
also,
wouldn't be
then
making
they'll
anywhere near as
easily-
much money as they would be working for 2K
Yeah.
and Gearbox, though.
Well, we don't know what they do.
Like,
a lot of
potentially,
YouTuber, a lot of content creators are like starving students, basically.
Their motive was probably like people can't keep their mouths shut.
Well, because like I said, we don't
like-
know what these people do. Like, there are people who don't make a lot of money that potentially see this information.
Maybe they get like a power trip out of being able to
that could be
release
it,
these
too.
little secrets that they can
Like,
just...
I know something you don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. And apparently, people are they started a hashtag called Boycott Borderlands 3 on Twitter and stuff as a result of all this. But let's be perfectly honest, though. Like,
wait. So we have gamers attacking developers, and we got like publishers going after content creators. It's like some kind of war going on here.
Inner gang war. Gamers attacking
like
gamers.
it's stupid because, again, in my opinion, this is 100% deserved.
I agree.
Based off the sheer amount of information and content that he leaked.
The content, the time, in my opinion, stupidity. Can't do it.